Welcome to your Platform Q learning experience. This video tutorial will show you how to replace Q objects with the Business Object Builder application. There are a couple of learning objectives that we want to achieve. The learning objectives are: understand what the Business Object Builder can do, understand why it is useful to replace Q objects, and learn how to replace Q objects with the Business Object Builder application. If a user on Platform Q wants to enrich data or change data structures, it is necessary to use the Business Object Builder application. With the Business Object Builder, you can join Q objects with each other, or you can merge them. The Q objects can contain data from different source systems. Furthermore, you can also create a delta between two Q objects and remap field values of two different Q objects. It is also possible to create complex conditions as a filter. This learning video will focus to demonstrate how to replace Q objects. All operations within the Business Object Builder application can be carried out via a graphical user interface, which means that no coding is required from the user. Why do you need to replace Q objects on Platform Q in the first place? Imagine that you are building a dashboard with several key performance indicators, and you want to have a view on different time spans. If your organization works with a business warehouse or Excel files, you may have a closed report available. With Replace Q Object, you can replace a Q object with the one you need. Your advantage is that you do not need to rebuild the entire logic again. But keep in mind, there are some requirements before you can replace a Q object. The structure of the Q object needs to be the same in order to use Replace Q Object. Q objects that differ in number of columns and field names cannot be used for the replacement. Let's jump into Platform Q to see how we can replace a Q object. In front of you is a relation tree that displays which Q objects are part of the logic chain. The endpoint is a Q object called Overview Sales Performance. We are going to execute this Q object to see the data behind it. After a couple of seconds, we can see the data. As you can see, we have a column with the name Order ID, Customer ID, Revenue, Total Revenue, and an order date. The order date indicates that all transactions occurred in the year of 2014. We want to replace a Q object within the Business Object Builder application with sales data from the year 2015. You can either replace a Q object within the Business Object Builder or the Simulation Workbench. To learn how you can replace a Q object with the Simulation Workbench, please read the documentation or consider to watch the learning video. We are going to replace the Q object in Sales Data Q object with the data source Sales 2015. We click on Sales Data Q object. If you want to replace a Q object, you need to click on Settings. Then click on Replace Q object. Platform Q scans all Q objects that have the same semantic structure. In our example, we have another data source with the name Sales 2015. We are going to select this Q object and confirm. We click on the Save button. Then we will trigger the endpoint Q object again. As you can see, the data contains order dates from 2015. We were able to reuse a logic without building the entire chain from scratch again. Let's summarize what we have learned so far. With Replace Q Object, you can switch Q objects within a logic chain. You can replace Q objects if they have the same data structure. That means that they have the same number of fields and the field names are the same. The advantage for the user is that they do not have to rebuild an entire logic chain from scratch. They only need to change specific Q objects with data that will be processed. Furthermore, the Replace Q Object function is also available within the Simulation Workbench. Thank you very much for your attention. We hope that you have enjoyed this learning experience with Platform Q.